Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the highlights, you've heard the rumors, but now it's time to get the real scoop. We pull back the curtain on the world of sports entertainment and give you the unfiltered truth. From the biggest pay-per-views to the latest shocking headlines, you're locked in for the ultimate wrestling discussion. This is Between the Ropes, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your host, Kristie Wilson.
Up? Welcome to a brand new episode of Between the Ropes here on the ETB network. I'm your host. My name is Kristie Wilson, and it's going to be a heck of an interesting day because, there are definitely some things that are definitely going to get discussed. Some are going to get really serious. So let's get to the business at hand, shall we? There is the ticker. Of course, you can follow this show. You can follow this network. You can follow me. My God, it's going to be unbelievable. Definitely going to be unbelievable. And of course, you can follow this show at BTRETB on social media. And the next big one, of course, is youtube.com/ETB network. We are getting closer to 4,000 watch hours. And it's going to be definitely going to be something. So I'm going to get to a little bit something here. This is the weekend's almost over, but the conversation is just heating up. Kick back in the ETB Lounge with Callum McClurg and Nick DiMartino every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Join us for our 3-hour live format where we unite the full panel of ETB hosts to break down a pivotal day in sports, from the prestige narratives of major championships and MLB afternoon slates to the chaos of the NBA playoff picture. We cover it all, whether you're here for the happy hour prestige or the spillage, where we roast the day's biggest blunders and gambling bad beats. The Lounge is your home for sports therapy, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, easy for me to say, youtube.com/ETB network. So let's get down to the subjects, to the topics at hand. If this starts to sound like something right out of an episode of Law & Order, I am sorry. And also, I do not have that famous Law & Order sound effect that I can use at my disposal. So get that out. And the first thing is, if you were expecting a trial in the WWE merger case in Delaware, it's been canceled. Because reportedly, both sides reached a settlement. Now, if you don't know what this is all about, this was one of those things. I mean, even I was wondering to myself, what in the name of God is going on here? According to Brandon Thurston on X, I should interview that guy, maybe. According to a tweet he tweeted out 6 days ago, he said the WWE merger trial has been canceled. Court administrator for the Delaware Court of Chancery, Tamara Burton, confirmed. She confirmed this to him that night. He says, we haven't confirmed whether a settlement has been agreed to or is being worked on. The trial was previously scheduled to start on Monday. Well, not happening. It definitely looks like it's not happening. And if you check Twitter, one of the most notorious WWE or pro wrestling streamers out there, JD from New York, he did a show earlier today. I think this was one of the subjects he touched on. In addition to my next topic, which he also touched on, which is basically Vince McMahon is using his money to make his legal issues go away instead of facing the consequences of his actions. That's just, I hate that. He's done this before. So many issues have come up that he's just thought, I'll just throw money at it and it'll all go away. Now, I hate this. I really hate it. But I have the article from postwrestling.com that Brandon Thurston wrote. So, but no, oh wait, this is an old article. Sorry. So, this is an old article. But it is ridiculous. It's absolutely positively ridiculous that, Vince McMahon using his money. Oh, hey, KB. Once again, Vince throws money at the problem, makes it go away. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. He did it. He's been doing it for years. Like I said, he's using money to make it go away, and he doesn't have to really face the consequences of his actions. I think, and this is just a theory I have, which is I think in this situation, the walls were really closing in on him, and he figured if he doesn't throw some money at it, then he was going to have to face it. And at some point, he's going to have to, whether it's while he's alive or when he reaches the pearly gates of heaven. That is, to me, that's the only way he's ever going to truly meet his maker. It's just a personal opinion I have of this. And I just feel as though it's just one of those situations. Like I said, he's going to have to, unfortunately, he's going to have to face the consequences for his actions. In this one, he's not going to. This is the next one. This is where I wish I had the sound effect for Law and Order, because this is probably what a little bit of this episode is going to sound like. But Vince McMahon continued to prove one point is this. Yep, that's what it is. Can you believe people really want Vince to come back as chairman of the board? Please, God, no, I don't want him back. I don't want him back. His time has come. His time is gone. His time should have ended eons ago. Who knew it would take a 2022, I think you know this, KB, a Wall Street Journal article on the women he was paying off using WWE money that was not on the books. He'd made them sign non-disclosure agreements. That should have been, he should have been told, no, stay out. Stay the fuck out. But that's not what had happened. So enough of that. Here's the next one. If you've been keeping up with this sex trafficking lawsuit involving a WWE employee by the name of Janel Grant, she filed it. A lot of things happening, but now it's been moved to private arbitration. Again, another situation where again, Vince McMahon's throwing money to make the problem go away. My grandmother always said what's done in the dark always comes to the light. That is true. That is definitely true, KB. But if you keep it up, I have refused to talk about this. It's nothing, I haven't experienced anything like that, but it's just a case that's just made me incredibly uncomfortable. But the fact that it's been moved to private arbitration, it's again another situation. Vince McMahon is basically throwing money to make it go away. Again, it says, pending approval from the court, the sex trafficking lawsuit will likely soon move out of public meeting. And, and Brandon Thurston posted this tweet yesterday. He goes, the case on the Janel Grant case in response to someone named Jason Solomonster, when Brandon Thurston broke the story about this particular lawsuit moving to private arbitration. He goes, and so ends Vince McMahon's legal troubles. Yeah. Or better yet, I have a better idea instead of doing a hand motion. Yep. So what's really all about? Vince McMahon loaded with money. He's, like I said, doesn't want to face the consequences of his reported actions, so he uses money to make the problem go away. Sometimes this is a personal opinion of mine. I think, in all honesty, I think this is one of those situations where basically he thinks he's untouchable, thinks he's invincible. He's not. Vince McMahon is not invincible. Now, according to this Brandon Thurston tweet, he goes, the case moves to apparently continue in a private setting rather than a public one. This isn't a settlement. So it looks like this is not, the Janel Grant situation, is not going to, there's going to be no settlement. the Ring Boy lawsuit is going on, and there's another called the Ring Boy lawsuit. It's going on in federal court in Maryland, where Vince McMahon, WWE/TKO, and Vince McMahon's wife, Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon, are the defense in that one. That hasn't been settled. So, give me your wife, you lost your company. Say, give me a break. You lost your wife, you lost your company, you barely have a relationship with your children. What do you have left of Vince? Nothing. He doesn't have anything, KB. He is an empty man. And I mean, I don't even think, because of probably him having no relationship with either Shane or Stephanie, Vince McMahon probably does not even have a relationship with his grandchildren. Yeah, it's Shane's 3 sons and Stephanie's 3 daughters. Because that's got to be embarrassing. This has got to be insanely embarrassing. So, the Janel Grant situation, there was more that Brandon Thurston posted. He goes, Judge Sarah F. Russell granted the parties' joint motion. The judge is requiring them to file a joint status report by July 10th. If they haven't reached an agreement by that date, they'll have a hearing in August. So they better get their asses in gear and get this shit taken care of. This is getting idiot. This is getting stupid. Another tweet from Brandon Thurston. I interpret agreement here as referring to the conditions of moving into arbitration, not necessarily a settlement of the entire Grant versus WWE and Vince McMahon dispute itself. And that's what he's looking at it as. So this is a case that's probably going to be out of the public eye, because let's face it, with a lot of cases becoming so public and so much false information being spread out on social media and stuff, it's probably best to get it in private arbitration. That way the details don't spill, unless you have some asshole, the court reporter or something just decides he or she's gonna leak the information. I have no idea, to be honest. But okay, God. Okay, this is the last legal topic I'm going to cover, and then I'm getting out of the legal crap. Another thing, current TNA wrestler Ryan Nemeth, the brother of Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler. Of course, if you know, Nick Nemeth's going to face Mike Santana for the TNA World Title at Slammiversary coming up June 28th. And if you know why I said that, it's the whole counter-programming crap I addressed last week. He was accused by AEW of misrepresenting, misleading conduct, and AEW is seeking to move the arbitration process in his case over to Florida. And again, Brandon Thurston, you are excellent, dude. I'm telling you. Go here. And I have the article. It says, despite an agreement to move to arbitration last year, AEW and Ryan Nemeth remain at odds with the promotion petitioning the court to compel Nemeth to arbitrate under the terms of his previous contract. Now, this is because Ryan Nemeth filed a complaint in February 2025 against AEW, Tony Khan, and CM Punk in the Superior Court of California, alleging assault, professional retaliation, being blacklisted from the industry. He also accused AEW of breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Now, back this past April, he voluntarily dismissed the suit in LA Superior Court, agreeing to take the matter to private arbitration. And as a result of that, AEW dismissed its own petition in the U.S. District Court of Florida, where it was seeking to compel Ryan Nemeth to private arbitration according to the language of his contract, where matters would be adjudicated. But it turns out a year later, we've got this situation coming up where AEW is accusing Ryan Nemeth of misrepresenting and misleading them through his conduct. They filed a petition June 5th in the U.S. District Court of the Middle District of Florida to compel Ryan Nemeth to arbitrate the dispute of a JAMS administrative office nearest to Duval County, Florida, and be adjudicated under Florida law. Duval County, that's where Jacksonville, Florida is located, and probably where AEW's corporate headquarters are located too. Now, if you wonder what JAMS is, a private company helped design to resolve disputes and arbitrate. AEW has used this company in its contractual language setting and dispute. 29 locations worldwide. Is based out of Irvine, California. So, Ryan Nemeth, just you need to face the consequences of your actions. You haven't been completely blacklisted. You're freaking signed to TNA. You're in the same company as your older brother. So, this is probably one of those situations that's either going to go to court or it's probably going to end up, I don't know. But again, talk about fucking ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm going to get this done. I have the perfect lawyer who represents you. Erwin R. Should I start getting the IRS? KB? All right, buddy. That's a good one, though. I do like that. Okay, enough of the Law and Order stuff. Like I said, I don't have the appropriate sound effect for this, but okay. Ryan Nemeth, WWE, Vince McMahon, this is you. Need I say more? All right, I'm going to get out of the lawsuit stuff. Now we're going to get into some actual wrestling. I'm going to start with a really good one. If you've been following her career, yes, Shotzi Blackheart has been doing her thing, and it's paid off in a big, big way. If you watch last week's episode of MLW Fusion, she is now the MLW Women's World Champion. That is awesome. I mean, ever since she was released from WWE, Shotzi has been doing fantastic. She's been taking on bookings at indie promotions. She's done House of Glory. She's done Game Changer Wrestling. She is doing her thing. And this is really huge for her to win this championship. But, oh, KB. In the criminal justice system, wrestling based... I'll finish reading this. In the criminal justice system, wrestling-based offenses are considered especially heinous. Believe me, KB, if I had that Law and Order sound effect, dun dun, that would be freaking great. It would have helped me out a lot. Because the 3 topics I covered in the legal sense were so freaking serious. But back to Shotzi. She's the MLW Women's World Champion. This woman has been, like I said, doing her thing on the indies since she got released. Yeah, she is cool. She is awesome. She has definitely brought out something. She's just crazy, and I love her. She should be my Wrestler of the Week. She was, but I had to do a switch out. But Shotzi will get the Wrestler of the Week honor. And I'm going to say it's going to come sooner than you think. It's definitely going to come sooner than you think. This woman has been doing her thing. Like I said, she was big star in NXT, former women's tag team champion with Athena, formerly Ember Moon. But when she made the main roster, I mean, I'm telling you, that is, I'm going to be straight up honest. I honestly think Shotzi wasn't given a fair shot on the main roster once she got there. I feel honestly bad for her. I do, because I feel like she should have been given an ultimate opportunity. I mean, she was at WWE in the last year, and it was just, I don't know what to say. I mean, heck, she even went back to NXT and formed a really promising all-female faction called Chemical X with Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan and Priscilla Kelly, then Gigi Dolan, but Shotzi and Priscilla each let go, which I really thought was shitty because they really had something going here. Yeah, she is the indie queen, KB. She definitely is. And well-deserved, by the way. Now, I know once her time at MLW, if she is dethroned at some point, I do think Shotzi's doing her thing. I think this leads her, if she doesn't want to go back to WWE or have anything to do with TNA, AEW, I think, would be a great place for her because she is, her nickname is the Ballsy Badass. She can bring that ballsiness, that badassness to the promotion that I think has been lacking a little bit. I mean, there's no lack of badass women in AEW's women's division. There's no lack of it. I just feel that we need some Shotzi in AEW. I really do think we do. But she is awesome. She like KB said, and I'll put his comment back up here so you know. She is now the indie queen, and deservedly so. Deservedly so. So that's one good thing. Now I got to get out of this, and now I'm going to go to the next really sucky topic. I know I did 3 topics all involving the legal process, and I'm sure that sucked. But here's the next one. Yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. Steve Maclin was released from TNA sometime this week. Oh, yeah. Shotzi versus Tony Storm. Yeah, sign me up too, KB. Sign me up. I don't think it matters whether Tony Storm's doing the Motley Crue rocker girl gimmick or the timeless gimmick. She and Shotzi, I think, could just tear it up. I really do. I really, really do. But back to Steve Maclin was released from TNA. Nico Campanelli gets mad credit for bringing this up because I had absolutely no freaking clue whatsoever that this was going to happen. I guess I thought, status in TNA was secure, but I guess there's been issues going on. Like, there's been a shit ton of issues going on TNA involving him. First he's here, now he's gone, he's fired, then he's brought back, and now he's been released, shows up Pro Wrestling Revolver, and holy freaking hell, that was crazy. I mean, when I found out he was there, I was like, wait, what? Are you kidding me? He's there? I mean, I'm so surprised by this, but kind of makes sense in some sense but I don't honestly think he was happy in TNA. I think he just is creative. It was so fucked up. It was honestly fucked up. And, I don't blame him for wanting out. He shows a Pro Wrestler Revolver, probably yelling at the camera, I told the cluck I quit. Or the cock. Sorry, I didn't get the word pronounced correctly. Sorry about that. But, it makes me wonder, does this mean that he's going to join his real life wife, Deonna Purrazzo, in AEW? Now, she is the current Ring of Honor Women's Pure Champion. Could he join her working to build up Ring of Honor, or does he go to the big leagues, AEW, where he can definitely be, as long as you don't put him in the Don Callis family, you don't make him a member of the Death Riders. I think Maclin on his own, he doesn't need a faction. You just gotta, just let him just tear it up, let him loose, let him do his thing. Think about the kind of matches that we could have with Steve Maclin in AEW if he decides to join there and be in the same company as his wife. Maclin versus Jon Moxley. Maclin versus Claudio Castagnoli. Maclin versus Kyle Fletcher. Maclin versus Konosuke Takeshita. Maclin versus Kenny Omega. Do I need to go on? Okay, I will. You can have Maclin versus Claudio Castagnoli. You can have Maclin versus Samoa Joe. I mean, holy fuck. You could have Maclin versus Darby Allin. Maclin can run it back again, with Speedball Mike Bailey. You could even have Maclin versus Kevin Knight. The possibilities, people, are endless with this man because he is good and he deserves a chance. So, Tony Khan, boss man, please, I'm asking you. No, actually, I'm begging. I'm just not going to get out of my chair and get on my knees because you won't see my face when I say this. Please sign Steve Maclin. Please. You're going to get you're going to get one hell of a wrestler and definitely a star if you do sign him. I mean, heck, you can have him and Deonna Purrazzo team up and have mixed tag team action against Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello. I mean, geez, you could have him go up against Trisha Dora and any of the dudes and Shane Taylor promotions in a mixed tag. I mean, I swear, possibilities are endless with Steve Maclin, and I don't honestly think AEW would be disappointed if they signed him. I really don't think so. I think they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him. I'm sure AEW fans are gonna be very happy to see him because he's gonna get that opportunity that he so rightfully deserves. So yes, the news is a little sad, but I'm feeling super optimistic for him. I really am. Now, we can just say to the 59 people watching me live, hi. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. Is now I got something else here. Now, Money in the Bank is one of my favorite WWE PLEs. I love the ladder matches. They're so freaking awesome. You never know what's going to happen. I've only made one Money in the Bank. I think it was when Big E and Nikki Cross under her old superhero gimmick, Nikki ASH. That was the only time I ever got the picks right. Well, if you're wondering about Money in the Bank, this has gone through a scheduling conflict constantly due to WWE and TKO being absolute dicks. They moved this pay-per-view from summertime, which is like around this time of year, like into late June, early July is usually the best time of year for Money in the Bank because you never know what can happen. I mean, you take a look at various people, you look at, say, Liv Morgan and various cashing in and having title reigns and everything. They need to move Money in the yes, they need to move Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania. To me, it's unnecessary. Like, I agree, KB. And if you're wondering why Money in the Bank was originally a part of WrestleMania and it was so cool, people loved it so much it became its own PLE. You've had multiple cashes. You had like Edge, CM Punk, Jon Moxley when he was known as Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, 2 cash-ins, including the famous Heist of the Century, Damian Priest, who had Heist of the Century version 2.0 at WrestleMania 40, where he cashed in on Drew McIntyre about 3 or so minutes after McIntyre beat Rollins. You know the story on that one. I'm not going to get too big into it. But it's been now scheduled for October 10th in New Orleans because, like I said, WWE and TKO being absolute dicks, Money in the Bank went from being a summertime pay-per-view before, kind of like a precursor, like a warm-up to SummerSlam, to in the fall. Because if you remember, WrestleMania 41 was originally not supposed to be in Las Vegas. It was supposed to be in New Orleans. Supposedly there was a compromise made. We ended up with Vegas getting WrestleMania 41 or WrestleMania 42, and then Money in the Bank got moved first into September. Now they've pushed it to October 10th at the Smoothie King Center. I'm calling this what it is, because this is not what it's. This is all I gotta say about that. Thank you for fucking it up for me. And again. Oh, and by the way, a certain someone has something to say about that.
Make it make sense to me.
Okay. I got another one.
What the f? What the f?
Cam Ward, if you will, please.
If we keeping a buck right now, we ass. I mean, we.
That's what this is. Hey, Stewie.
You suck.
That's right. WWE TKO, you fucking suck. How could you? Mind blown on that one. I just, ugh. Yeah. I hate this. I absolutely fucking hate this. You turning, excuse me. Like I said, this was a summer pay-per-view, kind of like I call it the warm-up to SummerSlam. The ladder matches are, I mean, it's from one of the WWE's better pay-per-views, and you're moving it to October 10th. Come on, give me a fucking break. It sucks. I friggin' think it sucks. And will I still watch it? Yeah, I haven't decided yet because October feels a ways off to me. But, you know, what could be worse? Ugh. I get a little bit more down in this one. Oh, I just want to get something. If you watched the UFC Freedom 250 pre-show hosted by Tom Albano and Zane Bando earlier today, I don't know if they talked about this, but if they haven't, then I will. Considering if you are going to be watching UFC Freedom 250 on Paramount Plus from the White House South Lawn, you might see some WWE wrestlers in the crowd because, according to some tweets, there are some WWE wrestlers. I think the interest is only because TKO also owns UFC. I don't know if it's because Dana White himself has personally extended invitations to certain individuals. Some of the names mentioned, you can have like The Miz, Charlotte Flair, maybe some other people who want to check out the action. So as far as I'm concerned, this, I'm not sure I honestly feel about it. I know I'm going to check out UFC Freedom 250 just to see like how the place looks, how everything looks, and maybe catch a fight or two. I mean, and that makes sense. But WWE wanting to expressing interest in wanting to be attending this, yeah. I mean, it would be cool. I mean, if you're watching whatever fight is on the card for this this event, and you see a WWE superstar there, like if you see The Miz there with his wife Maurice, then that's probably a date night for them. Like I said, Charlotte Flair probably might be there as well. So you got all that going on. It's definitely interesting. I mean, I don't recall seeing a high level of WWE stars at UFC events. If they have, I probably was not paying attention, but this definitely caught my attention. It made me think, this would be cool. So it'd definitely be cool. Just to, if you're watching on Paramount Plus and you kind of want to see like which celebrities are going to be there. Do we have any? Because I know there's going to be a good amount of military at this event, because I think a good number tickets for military personnel were free, I think. But tickets, it's like the hottest ticket in Washington, D.C. And I'm sure some WWE stars, like those I mentioned in this topic, are definitely gonna be there. Unrelated, but tonight go New York. Yes, I'm rooting. Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm rooting for the Knicks too, KB, just so you know. I am rooting for the Knicks. If you're not going to watch wrestling or anything, check out the NBA. I will do a little promo for the NBA Finals at the end of this show, in addition to something else I'm going to preview too. I'm going to get into another topic here. Now, MyAEW.com is, my God, they are freaking expanding their horizons. I love this. They have added a promotion called Limitless Wrestling, which is a promotion out of the state of Maine, to its platform, which that's pretty freaking awesome, if you ask me. I kind of think it's cool. This is just showing there's interest in MyAEW.com. I know there are other promotions, even smaller ones, that probably would be clamoring for the opportunity to be shown on this, because I think it's a great opportunity for these promotions to really have a spotlight shined on them. I'm sure there are other, there's probably promotions in Florida, California, Texas. I know there's one called Supernova Wrestling out of Boston, Massachusetts, I think. Probably would love this. I'm sure they would. And the fact that you're going to get exposed to all different promotions here. Here's another two that I think, and I mentioned these two in a previous episode of the show. Big Damo and his wife, Nikki Cross, are the owners of both Progress Wrestling and Defy Wrestling. Wouldn't it be interesting if those two ended up getting on MyAEW.com? Could you imagine? It could be really something that I think would really be cool for those promotions. And again, really shine a spotlight. I mean, I'm sure with Defy Wrestling in particular, I'm sure Swerve Strickland can, I'm sure he can be very persuasive, He probably would. I wouldn't be surprised. But I love this. And it's just showing that AEW is really wanting to put a spotlight on these promotions, like QT Marshall's promotion, I think, is One FW Wrestling, which is his promotion. So I kind of think that's really cool. And I think we're going to get more as time goes on. I really, really think so. Now, pardon me. I am so sorry about that. Now, I didn't mention streaming. I mentioned Paramount Plus, but that's for UFC Freedom 250. Something else ended up coming up, and I thought this was pretty interesting. If you love AEW Dynamite, but you find yourself wanting to watch the earlier stuff, if you're not interested in the current stuff that's being out, early episodes of AEW Dynamite have been added to the streaming site Tubi. Now, if you have a Tubi account, WWE Evolve is on Tubi, NXT is on Tubi, AEW Dynamite on there. I mean, holy crap. The main thing with Tubi, it's a free platform. You can start an account and you just don't have to pay for anything. And that's really something that I personally feel is really something that I think it's really awesome. I really do. Because I feel like, you get to see all the early stuff. Like, you get to see Cody Rhodes, before he got his giant neck tattoo, cut a promo on Chris Jericho, calling him a carny succubus, a stupid dick. I mean, he cut one of the most passionate promos in some of this early episode stuff. I mean, yeah, damn. This would just be funny. We get a UFC event at the White House. Can we get a SmackDown at a? This would be funny. We got a UFC event at the White House. Can we get a SmackDown in a Buc-ee's parking lot? Brisket sandwiches for everyone. KB. KB, I'm telling you. Oh, man. Yeah, your comment gets winner's music from $100,000 pyramid because it's a good comment, KB. That's why. That's definitely why. But yeah, check if you want to watch early episodes of AEW Dynamite. If you want to see Cody Rhodes, you want to see Jon Moxley, you want to see the late great Brody Lee and the Dark Order and all that good stuff, you check out Tubi. Or if you're not interested in that, you check out Tubi anyway, because they do have some good old classic movies on there if you're into classic films. So I really would I do recommend it. And I have watched a classic movie, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, on Tubi. So, and it actually wasn't my idea to watch it, but that's neither here nor there. So, here, I'm going to do something real quick. If you are expecting me, for example, to do this, no, I'm not going to talk about Danhausen posing for a picture with Cardi B, okay? No. Will I eventually talk about Danhausen and this phenomenon he did of uncursing the Knicks? I will get to it. I'm going to make a promise right here, right now, on air, and I am going to keep my word here. If the Knicks win the NBA Finals, I will talk about Danhausen and this funny thing that he did, uncursing the Knicks, and how would it play a factor? How Danhausen uncursing the Knicks played a factor in them winning their first NBA championship since 1973. By the way, game's not on yet for another hour. So I will do a Danhausen segment on the show if the Knicks win. If the Knicks win tonight, or if they win Game 6, win the title that way. I mean, you will get a Danhausen topic from me. I'm sorry. But now we're going to get to a topic here that I think it might have been surprising to some people. That's right, Kaylee Ray, formerly known to WWE fans as Alba Fyre. I knew her as Kaylee Ray because I used to watch NXT UK, and she's a former NXT UK Women's Champion. Held it for like the longest time. But pandemic played a role in a lot of stuff. But no, Kaylee Ray is back on the independent scene. If you're wondering, was there supposedly a 90-day non-compete clause? No, actually not. She did an interview with this publication called The Daily Star. And I have the quote here. She explains, actually, her WWE contract actually expired. So that's why it was easy for her to go to someplace like Pro Wrestling Eve, for example, and get people going bonkers. I mean, she said, quote, "For me, it happens. There seems to be a pattern with this. My contract was up, and I knew it was coming up, and I had the decision of whether I wanted to stay or not. I know some other people got fired, and they have the 90 days clause, but because of that, because mine was just a contract ending, it means I didn't have the 90 days, and I was able to come and do this and do it as like kind of a surprise, but it wasn't really a surprise. But yeah, really glad it worked out this way. I mean, good for her. I feel like, after she was NXT UK Women's Champion, she goes to NXT here in the United States. I kind of feel like she got kind of lost in the shuffle, and then they, redid her character a little bit and gave her the name Alba Fyre, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. That was cool. She did form a team up with fellow Scotswoman Isla Dawn, form the Unholy Union. They won, WWE Women's Tag Team Gold. It was a short reign. I don't think WWE had any intention of keeping them as tag team partners, and everything just ended up happening. I don't know why. I don't know how they ended up. I guess they just decided we were just going to break them up off screen. We're not going to have one attack the other and start a feud like we do with other people. But that ultimately ended up happening, and poor Kaylee Ray ends up, as you know, you follow Chelsea Green. She became part of the Secret Herbis. meaning basically like Chelsea Clinton is the president and she has her Secret Service agents, or slagents as she calls them, which I never liked it. I felt like with the kind of talent with Kaylee Ray and another fellow Scotswoman she teamed up with, Piper Niven, as part of the so-called Secret Harvest, I felt like it was a waste. Just to prop Chelsea Green up when these two women are insanely talented and deserve a chance to shine in the spotlight. I mean, because I know when Kaylee Ray was in NXT UK, she cut some really good promos. Her matches were really good. When she beat Toni Storm, yeah, I was crushed, but she was definitely a worthy champion, even if her reign lasted a little too long due to the pandemic coming in and just everything getting all fucked up and shit like that. But I just hope Kaylee Ray is happy and continues to do her thing. Now, if she want to sign with another promotion, I think she's someone else that AEW could really benefit, could really have on their roster, because I do honestly think she is really good. I do personally believe that. So I have that sort of thing going on. So I think she has definitely a great opportunity to really, really show the world what she can really do, because I feel like it is the best thing for her. I think right now, the best thing for her to do right now at this moment is build herself back up on the indie scene before signing with a big promotion like AEW, for example. Oops, excuse me. But yeah, Kaylee Ray definitely had to, I think it was necessary for her to clear that up, because I'm sure people were like, were you released? You did the 90-day thing? What's the deal? But she cleared it up. And I'm glad she did. Now, getting to kind of one of the fun parts of the show. Like I said earlier, Shotzi Blackheart is Major League Wrestling's women's champion. I did have her set as my wrestler of the week until something happened. It kind of blew people away. I don't think anyone was anticipating this at all. But here we go. The It Girl, Maya World, is my wrestler of the week. Why did I switch out Shotzi with Maya? Well, if you think about it this way, Maya World, we know she teams up. She's part of a tag team with another rising wrestling star, Hyan. They work great together. Due to Japanese star Suri dealing with a neck injury, she was medically cleared in Japan, but AEW said, look, you're not medically cleared with us. You need to be protected from yourself. So, and she thought she could work with the injury. No, she couldn't. Suri could not work with that injury. If it's the neck, I wouldn't risk it. And Maya World came in and stepped into her spot into Owen Hart Cup tournament match against Sky Blue. Now, Maya World came in, was doing this with an incredibly heavy heart, as you know, her brother was tragically killed. It was hit by I guess it was changing a tire on the side of the road, and he got hit by a car and died from his injuries. And I'm sure that ate her up inside, that crushed her. But I think I understand why she decided to take advantage of the opportunity to be in the Owen Hart Cup tournament to go up against Sky Blue, because she probably figured that's what her brother would want her to do. And I applaud her for that. Because let's face it, Maya World to me definitely, it personifies her nickname, the It Girl. She is definitely on the rise. She's becoming an It Girl in pro wrestling. People are starting to notice. And the big thing, why she is my wrestler of the week, is Sky Blue was the heavy favorite in that match. Maya World beat her. And that was an upset. Now, sadly, poor Maya is going to have to go up against Athena in the semis, which I think personally sucks. However, I do think if Maya does lose to Athena, I think she should be put in the Survival of the Fittest tournament for the TBS Championship. She should be put in a qualifying match. That would really be something, since especially Persephone, who was also in the Owen Hart Cup tournament, got taken out, was beaten. Now she's in the Survival of the Fittest tournament. She'll be going up against Julia Hart. So, and I'll get to that later. But Miss Maya World, It Girl. You are awesome. You are brave. I applaud you. It takes a lot of courage, especially after suffering something horrible like losing a sibling or a family member in general. It's difficult, but I applaud you for stepping up and just doing your thing. Yeah, you beating Sky Blue. I wish you luck against Athena. I really do. And maybe you might pull off another upset. You never know. The unpredictability is pretty damn awesome. But Maya, thank you. Now, if you saw last week's episode, I roasted a faction. I did. First time ever, I roasted a faction. Now, get ready. Because I'm about to do it again. Okay, why go from the Don Callis family to the Elegance brand? Now, the Elegance brand, if you don't know anything about this faction, I'm going to tell you. This faction filled with some really irritating, annoying people, though I'm probably going to get I'm going to get screamed at for saying it. This is a faction led by Ash by Elegance, formerly Dana Brooke. She started this along with another one, Heather Reckless, who goes by the name Heather by Elegance. And we have another woman in this faction, M by Elegance. I don't know her old ring name. If I know KB's in the chat, he could probably look it up and help me out with that one. And then you have the personal concierge, who's the manager, and he's just annoying as shit. Anyone who steps into a managerial position, I am comparing them to Paul Heyman, who is like the best manager, advocate, wise man, oracle, whatever you want to call him. He is the best. No one comes close. And if you even attempt to try, I think you're going to fail miserably. But yeah, the personal concierge. And then you have Mr. Elegance. I don't know what this dude's deal is. His real name is Andreas John Ziegler, or better known to any pro wrestling fan who's followed his career as AJZ. So this faction, I know they're not slackers or anything like that. Ash by Elegance is a former Knockouts World Champion. She's won the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles, I think, with Heather by Elegance, and then Heather teamed up with M by Elegance, and they're right now the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. I'd like to see Rosemary and Allie dethrone these two broads. I'll tell you that. Look, this faction, I'm telling you, the gimmick is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I get Ash by Elegance is a beautiful woman, and she looks incredible in a lot of things. This feels like this is just the dopiest, dumbest thing I have honestly ever seen. The success, I know, speaks for itself. And sure, Ash kind of showed she was human when she had to vacate the Knockouts Championship back some months ago, where I think a lot of us were under the assumption she had retired, but in all honesty, she didn't. The mystery over her relinquishing the Knockouts title is because Ash's real name is Ashley May Diaz. She's married to boxer Ulysses Diaz. Her son was battling cancer. And honestly, I do feel bad for Ash because, no parent should watch their child struggle through something like that. I mean, that is heartbreaking. Hopefully her son is okay. But I'm going to get back to her and her faction. Let's face it. This is lame as shit. None of these, Ash is a good wrestler on her own. I've heard Heather Reckless is really good. Am is pretty good. AJZ or Mr. Elegance, whatever you want to call him, I'll just call his character lame as fuck. And the personal concierge. You people are just, every time I see you on my screen, it doesn't matter if I'm watching a clip from TNA Impact on AMC, I am irritated. This is why I say thank God for the mute button. I mute you and I don't care. Because let's face it, it just doesn't, for me personally, this doesn't click. It certainly does not click at all. I don't get it. I really do not get it. I really don't. I don't understand it, and maybe I don't want to. I don't know why, but I really do not want to. I guess I just don't want to understand. If you add another member, I am going to be screaming my head off if you do. Because let's face it, the Elegance brand is just the most irritating, annoying faction known in pro wrestling. And believe me, they're more. Here's the thing: I take the TNA faction, the system, more seriously than I do the Elegance brand. Because at least with the system, these people really are just all badasses. I know they're heels. I don't care. The Elegance brand is lacking the badass factor here. They're really lacking it, and that's why probably for me, this just doesn't work. You need to break this up. Don't push it any further. If you want to... Oh, God damn it. I'm sorry. Ugh. You want to blame the burping, you can blame this. It's Mountain Dew. Baja Cabo Citrus, which, by the way, is fantastic. Mountain Dew. I think ETB would like to... negotiate with you on a brand sponsorship. That would be really cool. The Elegance brand. And certain someone has something to say about that.
You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You.
And I had Stewie say that 5 times for all 5 members of the Elegance brand. All 5. Because I figured there's no other way of going about it. And this might not have seemed like I roasted them that bad. Let's just face the facts here. I was just more annoyed by them than anything. But they deserve to get roasted anyway, so there's all that. But, this has been a really good episode. I mean, yeah, it could have been better, yes. But I've got a little something here that I'm going to do. If you are not watching Game 5 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs, by the way, go New York, go New York, go. Here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you an AEW Collision preview. This is Summer Blockbuster. They had the Dynamite on Wednesday for this. I'm going to give you a couple of matches that I'm going to recommend to you folks because it's coming up in about 8 minutes, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, TNT. You can stream it on HBO Max. I'm going to give you a couple of matches I personally think you should be on the look. You should definitely keep an eye on that I really think are going to be probably the 2 matches I think people are going to be talking about on the show. Oh, God damn. I'm so sorry. Ugh. This is nuts. Okay. One of the matches I say definitely keep your eye on is definitely the Survival of the Fittest tournament match starting, of course, Persephone. I mentioned her earlier. She's going up against Julia Hart. And another one is the TNT title match. Kevin Knight puts that on the line against Myron Reed of the Rascals. And, of course, Myron Reed's Rascals teammates Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz are going to be in action tonight in this episode. So, and then another big match on the card. I really could recommend you check this one out. I think this is another one that's going to get talked about. Is going to be a Cincinnati Street Fight, Death Riders versus Shane Taylor Promotions. If you watch Dynamite on Wednesday, Jon Moxley had a Continental title match against Shane Taylor. You know the drill with these matches. It's a 20-minute time limit. Everyone, get the fuck out of here. If you interfere, it's over. Well, it looks like Shane Taylor's a sore-ass fucking loser, and he attacked Mox and resulted in the street fight. So this is what you're going to get. The Cincinnati Street Fight is the Death Riders and versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Another match on the card. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to get to one match. I think if you love tag team wrestling, yeah, it's Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks versus the Dogs. I think that's Clark Connors and David Finlay are going to be in action. So those are the matches I'm going to I recommend everyone check out, or if you just want to. Or if you got more pressing matters, if you have more pressing matters, here's another one for you. Check out Game 5 NBA Finals on ESPN and ABC. It'll be coming up in about 26 minutes. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, or 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time if you're on the Mountain Time Zone like I am. Or you can check out, of course, World Cup soccer action going on. Of course, if you've been enjoying Empty the Pitch with Callum McClurg and Trevor Williams, check out their show. If you're going to check out UFC Freedom 250 tomorrow night on Paramount Plus, stick around for ETB for the post show hosted by the dudes who did the pre-show, Tom Albano and Zane Bando. So that's going to be definitely check out all that good stuff. So if you're going to be checking out, like I said, Collision, hopefully, like I said, check it out in 5 minutes, TNT, or stream on HBO Max. So enjoy that. Enjoy the NBA Finals. I just want to thank KB, who's in the comments. I thank the 65 people watching me live. I'm going to get to all the banner stuff. Of course, the ticker is down below. You can follow this network. You can follow this show. You can follow me. Another one you can follow. Like I said, you can follow this show on social media at BTRETB. And of course, youtube.com/ETB network. We're getting closer to, right now, the closest we're getting to right now is 3,000 watch hours. And then, but we are really making the push towards 4,000, which can result in a lot of really cool stuff that can happen. So youtube.com/ETB network. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, including ETB Lounge. I think that's tomorrow, but there's going to be a lot of Empty the Pitch. Trevor and Callan are going to have a lot of stuff, of course. I mentioned Tom and Zan doing the post-show for UFC Freedom 250 on this network. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you, KB, in the comments. Thank you. And I also want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you folks next week with a brand new episode of Between the Ropes.